Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary. Hello, welcome to Great Mother Speaks. I'm Tammy Taylor, your manifestation muse, and today we're talking about
we are the offspring of the creative primordial forces of the Great Mother, Father God. Great Mother, the still small voice of intuition, our soul space and moon sign. Great Father, the spark of inspiration to materially create our sun sign. Both join in Aries, April 22nd, 23rd, this new moon in Ashwini Nakshatra, the stellar constellation of beginnings, miracles, pioneering, equine energy, bringing of the dawn, quickening, the horn of Aries, fast and furious, impatience and transition. And what a transition we are undergoing with Saturn, the firstborn of Great Mother, Father God, in Capricorn conjunct Pluto, Jupiter, and Mars at this time on planet Earth. We are experiencing these energies as an uprooting of the old systems and the creation of the new. This is the beginning of the transition from the Piscean age to Aquarius. Since Great Mother's last message and those preceding those messages back in the fall of 2019, October, 3 years or so, she's been preparing us for this time of deep seeding and life reflection, cleansing, rebirth, and recognizing that there is a constriction occurring with regard to our internal truths. If you are new to this channel, Great Mother speaks to those of us with mama drama trauma through her signs and symbols of the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, the lunar cycle, the moon phases, chakras, gods and goddesses of which we are equal to as gods and goddesses, children of the Great Mother Father God, and the symbolism of the story of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, the poster child of mama drama trauma. MDT is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto the child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she is unable, unwilling, or unavailable to heal her own trauma, because it is a cycle, loving detachment is required for us to live a happy, healthy, and whole life. And indeed, happiness, health, and wholeness is the birthright of children of the Great Mother, Father God. Reclaiming this divinity identity is the key to not only healing mama drama trauma, but healing all that ails us in our human experience. With mama drama trauma, there's always an issue of ignorance. It is a planetary disorder, she has shared with me as the creator of this deck and inner work life coach specializing in this area, since she, working with her, has healed my own. Mama drama trauma has a wide spectrum from ignorance to denial to the regular, ordinary interaction between mother and child that is one of a soulmate contract for learning and growing, and within it naturally has conflict, to the extreme cases of abandonment and abuse. There are telltale signs of mama drama trauma, and if you'd like to know more about those, you can click the link to the video below. Great Mother gives her messages for those of us who are in the daily practice of our divinity identity, which is first and foremost the affirmation that anyone can do, and that anyone who is seriously undertaking this work to transition from MDT identity, made up of a life of shame, blame, and guilt, into divinity identity. This is what we say to ourselves all day, every day, to transform shame, blame, and guilt into that divinity identity. It is, I am a dearly loved divine child of the Great Mother Father God, who was never judged, condemned, or left alone. Her encouraging messages through the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck supplement this divinity practice by allowing us to get in touch with her soul to soul and the support that is available to us in the moment to heal feelings of shame, blame, and guilt. You know, when MDT is acknowledged after releasing the denial of it, we're overwhelmed with even more feelings of shame, blame, and guilt because we know intuitively that it's not our mother or our child. Many times people have problems with mama drama trauma in the raising of their children, having suffered from it themselves, and there may be an ignorance of mama drama trauma and a projection of it onto the child, which is why acknowledgement is so important, so we can see what our child is mirroring to us and we can stop the cycle. Someone has to. And so this is the purpose, this is the intention of sharing these readings, to get in touch with this eternal support that's available to us through the signs and the symbols of the lunar phases, which represent the planetary support that is also available to us with this Aries new moon. I try to get these out for new and full moon, but it does depend on my work schedule, and it is quite intense at this time, but I felt it really necessary because Great Mother is really wanting to let you know that as you're going through this time, you need to remember you are the child of the mother of all mothers, the father of all fathers, and you have the support that you need in each moment to actually feel your moon sign, your emotions, and intuitively know this. And when you don't, because of the conditioning of mama drama trauma, she offers this practice and these messages of support to you. So these are your Aries new moon messages for 2020. Cancer moon sign people, you are in a deeply, deeply intuitive space. More than usual, Cancer being ruled by the moon, with Neptune in your 8th house, you may be actually receiving angelic ancestral guide visitations at this time very strongly with regard to your legacy. You are in a deeply intuitive space, and when you kind of come out of that, how you are dealing with the world, your specifically maybe your career, your life purpose. You know, if you feel that your life purpose is parenting, if it is artistry, if it is teaching, whatever your life purpose is, coaching, reading, you are definitely having a sense of being guided, of being given very specific information at this time. But this karmic conjunction that we're all experiencing on the planet right now, with Saturn conjunct Pluto, Mars, and Jupiter, is in your 7th house of relationships. And so this is soul contracts. So it's not just personal and professional relationships, but it's also this mama drama trauma soul contract with your mother and with your children. And you're wondering, when you are in everyday practical space with people close to you and those involved with your life purpose, what is your legacy? What is it that you're going to leave? You may be actually really be feeling, frankly, alienated and kind of alone over the last, year and a half or 2 years. So this isn't a new energy in terms of the alienation, feeling alone, but it's definitely now coming through in your practical life as a period of let go and release of how you've lived your life in the past. Through this guidance you've been receiving and through this clarity about your dharma, a lot of emotional ups and downs with this. It's a very strong energy, but People that you're associated with, friends, groups, networks, are supportive. You feel supported at this time. You're learning a lot from these spiritual downloads and just from your own spiritual learning, maybe your own spiritual teaching, learning from your students. I know I learn from my clients more, I feel, than I teach them. And you are in this space of learning. And so you have a lot of support. Looking at your center card, which is the card that tells us what your soul wants to work on this lunar cycle of Aries new moon, is self-inquiry. So where you are sensitive, where you do feel a lack of clarity, a lack of connection with others specifically, is causing this lack of clarity with really what's going on. Really how are we doing this relationship? How are we moving forward? What is the legacy that I'm leaving for this relationship that's really important to you? You want to be remembered, to be seen, to be appreciated as loving, as caring, and that might not be what you feel is happening at this time for some of you. Because self-inquiry is all about, the shame, blame, and guilt that mama drama trauma perpetuates. And when we are feeling that, when we're feeling blamed for a situation, when we're getting this shame that it's our fault that a situation exists, or the guilt that we didn't do something that we should have done, we always, in the practice of divinity identity, which is knowing every day and saying to ourselves our affirmation, I am a dearly loved divine child of the great Mother, Father, God, who is never judged, condemned, or left alone. We have to, therefore, when these thoughts, these impressions come up, immediately assert that and ask ourselves then, is it true that I haven't done something that I was supposed to do? That it is my fault that this situation is occurring, instead of just jumping on the bandwagon and becoming defensive about it. So this is where you are in terms of what your soul is coming out and saying. This lunar cycle is important to address. What's bringing this up is Nefertiti energy. Your soul is saying, own your beauty. Own what it is that you're sharing, this fifth chakra energy of your expression. Own that, how you do you, and the messages that you're getting, the intuitive insights that you're getting about your soul purpose. Trust that. It is the beauty that you're here to express. And the issue, therefore, comes in how we're expressing it. And when we know that we're doing our best, sometimes it's just a matter of accepting that others are where they are. And that is where the practice of loving detachment comes in, that we do with healing mama drama trauma, accepting what is, accepting the mother we have, so we can let go of the one that we want. So that applies to others in our environment as well. Once we know that we have been as sincere, as authentic, and as considerate as we can in terms of expressing ourselves to others. What's in your shadow position, Cancer moon sign people, is Sulis, the full moon heart chakra card. All is well. You may not be aware of that at this particular time, but it is. Everything is well. Your silent prayers that you have in terms of resolving any situations associated with this are all well. It's just an internal space that is needing to be rebalanced at this time. It's an internal space that feels this fallout from these feelings of alienation coming to the fore. A lot of times we can project that onto others and say, well, I'm feeling this way because X, Y, and Z individual is behaving that way. When in actuality, it's simply something that we're going through ourselves in order to integrate spiritual download. And we have to give ourselves that space. It doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. And so you may not be aware of that. All is well. All is well. And if you are aware of that, those around you who may be having these visceral responses to you, they don't realize that all is well, that they are perhaps likely through you learning some new things and having to integrate some new things in terms of love, in terms of life. And it's uncomfortable for them. It's alienating and it's isolating for them. And they don't know that all is well. But what you desire in your desire position is Hecate, the crossroads. You're wanting to plant new seed in how you are expressing yourself. You are wanting there to be a shift and realize that it is an opportunity. This is an opportunity, this period of integration, an opportunity for growth for you. And you're wanting to do that. You're wanting to let go of how you have been living your life so that you can live a life going forward that is completely different with regard to your life purpose specifically and how you make these emotional agreements with people. You know, we don't consciously take into consideration when we create new friendships or new associations or even within our family what roles we assume in those relationships. We just kind of assume these roles. Well, I'm always the good daughter, or I'm always the son that finds out everything that people need in order to, get what they want. Excuse me. And many of these roles are based on our moon sign. Many of them oftentimes are based on our moon sign and what our natural emotional default is. And so you want to look at that natural emotional default, Cancer moon sign people, as home, as mothering, as these being priorities to you, comfort, being happy in your emotional space, making others feel happy and mothered. Take that into consideration with regard to the relationships that you have. Be more selective in terms of how you establish these relationships and how you maintain them, because the crossroads is all about Hecate, the old Greek crone that meets us at the crossroads of life, is always there to receive payment as a toll before we can move forward. And the toll is always a lesson that we've learned. Excuse me. It's always, we go through something in life and then we realize, oh, wow, we suddenly get the blinders off and I didn't have to go through that, or wow, I went through that because without that, I wouldn't have learned this. That's what Hecate wants in payment. And so those realizations that are coming through for you with regard to what imbalances need to be recognized and released coming through so that you can release those and move forward. That is what you're wanting to do, and Hecate is here to receive it. It's just a matter of you getting to that conscious point so that you can do that energetic work, especially at the full moon. Your new moon wishes, you definitely want them to do with you asserting a sense of self-confidence around this new definition of how you are connecting with people. Assistance with that. And Aries new moon energy is perfect for that. Now, what's supporting you with your desire to release the old for the new is the Gildeptis inner eye energy full moon synergy card. This is all about things are coming together for you. This imbalance, these extremities that are happening are all happening in order for the clock to be set in motion this lunar cycle, for you to, again, by the full moon, really have some illumination around what that is you're going to be handing over to Hecate at that time to purify your life going forward. Gildeptis energy is really about you using these intuitive downloads that you're receiving from your angels, your guides, and your ancestors in a way that will serve you, in a way that is not fearful of the information. Many times the information is very truthful, it's very real, it's very direct, it's very succinct, and we can have kind of this visceral response like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And it's not about that, because a lot of times we'll get intuitive downloads and it's like, what am I going to do with this? It's not about what we're going to do with it. It's about what the truth of the information is and just responding to it. Because it is what it is. We're not going to do anything else with it. We're going to respond to it and align with it. And so in responding and aligning with what Great Mother is sharing with you, this need to balance these deep intuitive downloads with the practical life of how you were living your Dharma and how you are relating with others in a space of feeling isolated, perhaps, even though there may be support around you, is realizing that despite that, the information from Great Mother is all is well, everything is coming together. You don't have to do anything about that. It is just what it is. So you are getting the downloads that you're getting, by aligning with the energies. What we do is make our Aries new moon wishes to align with the energies that are set up here, to support the clarity, to support the confidence, to assert our divinity in our relationships. And we get to choose how we mother, and we get to choose how we care for others and how we are comforted. That is what we do. Okay. And what we do is by the full moon, with the full moon illumination and the clarification, we again just simply receive what that clarification is. We are conscious. We open up our consciousness during the full moon to receive what's come through. And your present state of ego soul alignment, Cancer moon sign people, is the law of ego form and manifestation, Akhenaten. This is third quarter moon energy. It's all about release. And so that you are ready. You are releasing. Many of you already have. And this is a confirmation for you that you are asserting your purpose for incarnation. Ego form, the soul has had many. This is but one. This lifetime of who we are and who we identify with is but one. And the law of ego form and manifestation is about aligning with the incarnational intent of the soul for this lifetime. That's that Dharma. That's that Dharma for you. That's why all is well. That's what you're doing. And that is what is enabling you to release any and everything that is in the way of you fulfilling that Dharma. So there's all this nervous energy. You can just let it go. Your soul wants you to own your beauty, Cancer moon sign people. Let it go. Why your soul wants to work on this is, again, second chakra energy. Ishtar, the prostitute. You've been giving yourself away too much. You've been trying to prove your value too much. You've been needing other people to value your beauty before you value your own. Some of you are very confident with that, but be careful with bravado. Because sometimes we can say, well, I don't need the love of other people. I don't need other people to validate me, when that's basically just a big flag waving saying, validate me, validate me, validate me, validate me. And so, again, be really clear about how you're feeling and own the beauty of how you're feeling. If the isolation and alienation that you're feeling is really making you feel a need to be validated by others, well, then the Ishtar, the prostitute full moon card is coming through with the illumination of simply acknowledging that at this time, you're either using your emotional energy, again, how you set up these relationships, your roles, and connecting with others. You're either doing that in a way that's selling you out, where you're not really aligning with your authentic self, or you're sharing your emotional energy in a way that honors you, that honors your divinity, that allows you to be that dearly loved divine child of the great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone, and therefore feel and experience that. That is what alleviates those feelings of alienation, of isolation. That is what lets you know from a deep emotional space that all is well. It's one thing to have an intuitive download. That's a very wide auric field of the soul. But to feel it in the body emotionally is what that alignment is all about. The prostitute card is coming through and saying this is why the soul wants to work on the self-inquiry at this time. Am I using my energy in a way that dishonors me or honors me? Bottom line. And this lunar cycle is a period of really assessing that and resolving any problems associated with that. Being at this Aries full moon with your Aries new moon wishes assertive in your solution orientation. using what you have, that very caring spirit, to get what you want. You can focus that energy wherever you need it to be focused in order to get what your soul wants. And you are very clear about that at this particular time. There's just some unclarity about how to do it. And Great Mothers just share with you how, because in your how position of how to do this is integrity, is that truth, this heart chakra energy, balsamic moon energy, this download energy of eternal grace and mercy. We have eternity to get this right, to actually walk in alignment with what we know needs to be our dharma, our life purpose, how we use our energies. It takes a while to get all of these things together. And how your soul wants to do this at this particular time is just by you telling yourself the truth about who you are and what you're about. Other people don't need to validate that. You're getting that from the other side. And it's just for you to walk it out. And in the process of you walking it out, you'll begin to validate yourself. And that is enough. Once you validate yourself, that's enough. So the payment at the crossroads for Hecate is about releasing the need for that validation from others. And I know that is difficult, which is why this karmic conjunction is in your 7th house. It's assisting you, just like the conjunction in whatever our cosmic calculus is assisting us. This is the collective cosmic calculus for Cancer moon sign. In your unique birth chart, it will be different. This conjunction could be in your 3rd house, it could be in your 4th house, it could be, but it has to do with you dealing with the karma of how you have used your Cancer energy and whether or not you want to continue using your energy in that way. And telling yourself the truth is how you'll come to that understanding. Again, if you need more specifics on that, I'll be happy to do a reading for you at greatmotherspeaks.info. Your most likely outcome is Durga, the new moon energy of boundaries. And isn't the gut chakra ruled by Mars? Mars rules Aries. So this Aries new moon, this lunar cycle, the most likely outcome of you aligning with Great Mother's message at this time is that you will define your boundaries very clearly for yourself by telling yourself the truth. You probably already know them. Establish and maintain them. These boundaries are going to be very imperative for you going forward. And 2020 is a year for us to have a great deal of internal clarity, which is why Great Mother, Father, God have allowed this period of quietude around the world. That's how important our inner world of clarity is in moving forward into the new age. And the Aquarian age is upon us. The Piscean age is coming to a close, and the clearer we are with ourselves, the clearer we can re-engage with others as things begin to pick up over the next year, more specifically over the next 2 years. So there's a purpose for this period of time, and this new moon for you is allowing you at this particular time to clarify your emotional boundaries with people. It is a blessing that you have this phase of isolation. I would be looking for you in the fall that there would be less of that going forward. With regard to feeling that, it'll be lightening up quite a bit by the end of the year. But for now, take advantage of it so that you can use these downloads from your angels, guides, and your ancestors to live your greatest life moving forward. I hope that the support that you needed at this time, the clarity, balance, and confirmation. Remember, Great Mother loves you. And I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary.